today we are going to start with a new concept, that is the isomerism, right? So first of all, you should know that what is an isomerism, or from where this word has come, right? So see, it has been arised from a Greek letters, that is isos, which means same, mers means molecular formula, right? So actually the isomers are those which have the same molecular formula, right? So before starting this concept, I'll just state an example in front of you in order to make you more you can say familiar with the concept. See, we come across many compounds in nature which appear to be same, right? For example, we have the first organic compound which is synthesized in the lab by the Friedrich Wöhler. I told you when we were studying the organic chemistry that earlier it was assumed that it was impossible to make organic compound in a lab, but Friedrich Wöhler was the one who accidentally prepared the organic compound, that is urea, right? You know that when he just reacted those reactants, he come across the compound that is NH4 CNO. And the name for this compound is ammonium cyanate, right? And on heating, this compound rearranged to form another compound, that is urea. So urea was the first organic compound which was synthesized in the lab, right, by Friedrich Wöhler. So see, these two formulas, that is, one is for ammonium cyanate, other is for urea, right? If we'll count differently the C, O, N and H, what do we get? See here, we get how many C's? 1. How many H? 4. How many N? 2. And how many O? 1. So that means they both have the same formula, that is CH4N2O, right? But we have allotted different names for it, right? As I have told you that we call this as ammonium cyanate and this is urea, right? So though they possess the same molecular formula, but they are not exactly same, right? That means they have the same molecular formula. Somehow the molecular formula is same, but yet they differ in physical and chemical properties. This is what you can say is the reason behind that they have been allotted the different names, that is the ammonium cyanate and urea, right? So what is the relation they share actually, or what is the phenomena they are just exhibiting? So this phenomena is something called as the isomerism, right? So what do you, like if somebody asks you about isomerism, how you are going to state it? You will be telling that isomerism is a phenomena in which two or more compounds have same molecular formula, right? Two or more compounds can have the same molecular formula, but still they will differ in they will possess different physical and chemical properties, and this phenomena is actually called as isomerism. And what is the relation between them, right? Like we are cousins, we are brothers, we are sisters. So what the relation they share? They are actually isomers. They are actually isomers. So this is the relation what exhibit between these two compounds which appear to be same, but actually they have the same molecular formula, but they differ in you can say many physical and chemical properties, right? So this is something called as isomers or isomerism. The phenomenon is isomerism, and the relation is isomers, right? So how are you going to define isomerism? Just write in your copy. I am repeating a technical definition for you. So isomerism is a phenomena in which two or more compounds have same molecular formula, but they differ in physical and chemical properties. And those compounds which exhibit this, or you can say which have the same molecular formula and different physical and chemical properties, the relation they share is the isomers. For example, you can just state this example, ammonium cyanate or urea, right? Another example for you. See, what is this? CH3NO2. What do you call it? It is, obviously it is nitromethane, right? And now what is the name for, that the other name for this, we have one more name for this nitromethane, right? So at this moment I hope you won't be able to tell me the other name. So what I'll just draw an open structure, then you tell me what name is going to be of those compounds, right? So nitromethane, I am just making it as like this, right? And one compound I have like this. Right. So, do you know that what is the name for this compound? See, the formula they both possess is the same, 1C, 3H, 1N and 2O, right. So, that means the molecular formula is CH3NO2, right. But they have different names. This we call it as, like, the compound with this kind of structure is called as nitromethane, and the compound with this kind of structure, as you can see, they differ in the structure, as C is directly attached to the N, but in this case C is attached to the O, and further O is attached to the N, right. So, that means they just differ in the structure, they both differ in the structure. So, what is the name given to this kind of structure? It is methyl nitrite. This is methyl nitrite. So, see, this also can be stated as an example of isomers, though you can see that they have the same molecular formula, yet they differ in the structure, and moreover they differ in the physical and chemical properties also. You know that this nitromethane is actually, what is it? Is it solid, liquid or gas? Do you have any idea for nitromethane? Have you ever heard of nitromethane? So, you should know that nitromethane is actually liquid at room temperature, but this methyl nitrite is a gas. So, obviously liquid possess different properties and gas possess different properties, right. They both differ in the properties. It is liquid and it is gas. And when we talk about its boiling point, so this nitromethane's boiling point is 101 degrees Celsius, and that of methyl nitrite is minus 12 degrees Celsius. So, you can see that how much they differ in the properties. As I have stated only one property, and or you can say we have just used this thing explained to you on the basis of different states they are actually showing. So, that means they differ a lot in the physical and the chemical properties, but they have still they possess the same molecular formula. So, what is the relation between them? The relation is that they are isomers. One more thing which is striking in my mind, do you know what is the use of nitromethane? Nitromethane is actually used as a fuel in the the racing cars, right. So, this is the fuel which produces lot of energy when it gets burned. So, that is why it is used as a fuel in the racing cars, that is nitromethane. And you know that methyl nitrite, it is so harmful that if we inhale this methyl nitrite, it causes dilation of blood vessels and may result into the death even, right. So, that means this gas is actually fatal, right. So, because it causes the dilation of blood vessels. So, you can see that they both just differ in the properties, yet they possess the same molecular formula. So, that means they are also isomers. What relation they share? They are isomers. Likewise, we have many more examples. One more example I would like to share with you. For example, what is this? We have almost finished with the organic chemistry. You know that what is it? It is ethanol. And where the ethanol is used, you know that it is the major constituent of the hard drinks, right? So, see, if I can write this ethanol in a different manner, I can write in open structure formula, which is CH3CH2OH. This also means the same, that it is ethanol, right. So, it is exhibiting the formula this. I can make one more compound out of it that will possess the same molecular formula, but yet it will show different physical and chemical properties as they were showing, right. So, what is that formula? Just look at the board. It is this. See, in both of the cases there are 2 C, there are 6 H and 1 O, right. But this belongs to a family of alcohol and this belongs to a family of ether, right. So, that means they differ actually in the physical and chemical properties. See, you can use ethanol, as I told you that ethanol is the major constituent of hard drinks. Can you use ether in place of alcohol? No, we can't, because ether is not fit for drinking purpose, right. So, that means they just differ in the properties. So, I think it is clear that isomers are actually those compounds which have the same molecular formula. They look identical if we just look at their molecular formula, yet they differ a lot in the physical and the chemical properties. So, this is what is the phenomena that is called as the isomerism. Now, there are not the isomerism is not limited to only one type, right. We have many types, the categories that fall under the isomerism, but the basic two categories are, in which we can divide the isomerism, is structural isomerism and stereoisomerism. So basically we have two types of isomerism. One is the structural isomerism and other is the stereoisomerism. As the name suggests, because see you are also big enough to just make out the definition out of the name which I am telling you, that if I say structural isomerism, that means obviously you know that they fall under the category of isomerism. So that means they will be possessing the same molecular formula, right? It is a compulsory condition for an isomers, right? So that means they will be possessing the same molecular formula. That is done, we know that. But when I talk about structural isomerism, then in what aspect they will be they will differ among themselves. So obviously they will differ in the structure. Then how they differ in the structure? Now the question is this. So how they differ in the structure? They actually differ in the arrangement of atoms within a molecule, right? So when we have two or more compounds which have same molecular formula, I repeat, two or more compounds which have same molecular formula, but they differ in the arrangement of atoms within a molecule, right? So that means they are just showing which type of isomerism. They are showing the structural isomerism, right? I repeat, just write in your copies. Structural isomerism is a phenomena in which the two or more compounds have the same molecular formula, but they differ in the arrangement of atoms within a molecule. Don't forget, you have to write within a molecule. It is not, we are not looking for the arrangement of atoms in a space, we are looking for the arrangement of atoms within the molecule, right? So this is actually a structural isomerism. But now what is the stereoisomerism? Stereoisomerism is that in which again they have the compounds will show the same molecular formula, but they differ in the arrangement of atoms in a space, right? So I told you when we were discussing structure, I told you that you need to write that they differ in the arrangement of atoms within a molecule, and here they differ in the arrangement of atoms in a space. So when there is the difference of atoms within a molecule, it belongs to a structural isomerism type, and when there is a different the arrangement of atoms in a space is considered, that means it belongs to a category of stereoisomerism, right? So I think it is clear with the two basic categories of the isomerism, structural and stereo. Structural is differ in the arrangement of atoms within a molecule, and stereoisomerism is differ in the arrangement of atoms in a space. Now further we will be taking up the structural isomerism first. So there are many subtypes of the structural isomerism, because there are you can say many they can actually differ in many aspects, right? So accordingly we divide the structural isomerism into the subcategories. Now what are the subcategories which are summed up under structural isomerism? See, if they differ in the nature of the carbon chain, then this structural isomerism is called as the chain isomerism, right? So we'll be discussing one by one in detail, but at this moment I am just summing up just to make you familiar with the types, right? So one is the chain isomerism, in which they differ in the nature of the chain, branched or straight, right? Second is that we have position isomerism. As the name suggests, you all are big enough to understand. So obviously it is a position isomerism. They will be differing in the position, right? And the position of what substance? Obviously the position of the substituents or the functional groups or whatever is attached to the parent chain, right? So they just differ in the position of that position of atom, you can say, attached to a present within a molecule. Third we have is functional isomerism. Again, it means that because it is clear from the name functional isomerism, they will be differing in the nature of the functional group. Like we did in this example, ethanol was the alcohol was converted into ether, right? Ether is another functional group and alcohol is another functional group. So obviously they differ in the you can say the nature of the functional group. So it belongs to a category, the functional isomerism. So three we have already done. One is chain, other is position, third is functional. Fourth is metamerism, and the last one is tautomerism, right? So what is metamerism actually? we have certain groups which get attached, you can say when those functional groups get attached in a parent chain, they need minimum 1 carbon on each side, right? So that means they cannot be linked at terminal position, they need to be linked at non-terminal position, right? So that means the minimum of how many carbons should be present on this and that side, it should be minimum 1 carbon, right? So that means in metamerism what we are going to see, it is exhibited, first thing is that it is exhibited only by those compounds in which has the functional group and which the position of functional group is not terminal, it is attached to a non-terminal position, right? So we'll be discussing that what happens in metamerism. So for this moment, just be familiar with the term metamerism. Another is tautomerism. See, in tautomerism what is going to happen, it is a different, very different kind of isomerism. In this, the compounds which have the same molecular formula is going to exist in dynamic equilibrium. That means they can be interconverted, right? So we'll be taking up these structural isomerism one by one. I think for at this moment it is clear that what is actually the structural isomerism. So structural isomerism is that in which you can say the compound is definitely going to have the same molecular formulas, 2 or more compounds will definitely going to have the same molecular formula, but they will differ in the different aspects. Either they can differ in the nature of the chain, or they can differ in the position of substituent or functional group, or they can differ in the nature of the functional group, or they can differ in the number of carbon atom attached to the either side of the functional group, or there can be that those compounds with the same molecular formula can exist in dynamic equilibrium with each other, that means interconverted. So now we will be taking one by one with the proper examples, so as to make you well versed with this concept, right?